はい、ということで、お待たせしております。プレイベントアソンのジャパニーズヒストリームのミラー配信でございます。司会変わりまして、水枕が担当いたします。よろしくお願いします。はい、ということで、続いてのゲームが、ザ・キングズ・ダンジョンの、カテゴリーワールド1プラス2の100%となっております。こちら解説の方いらっしゃいません。解説このゲーム知ってるよという方でも構いませんので、コメント欄だったり、あるいは、ジャパニーズリストリームの、ディスコードのフォームから、入力していただけると幸いです。 現在お送りしていますのは、プレベントアソンの日本語ミラー配信です。続いてのゲーム、ザ・キングズ・ダンジョン。こちら、解説の方はいらっしゃいません。もし解説に興味のある方、あるいはこのゲームに関して知っている方がいましたら、ぜひ、解説フォームから入力、もしくはコメント欄での解説も歓迎しております。よろしくお願いします。
Hello everyone! Welcome back to Prevent-A-Thon 5. My name is Karitas, but everyone calls me Curry, so feel free to use that. And welcome! Welcome back to a marathon filled with some truly amazing speedruns. If you're like me, you've been lurking in the chat for like the past 6 to 7-ish hours just watching all these speedruns go by, and oh my, have they been really amazing. I will be your host for these next few speedruns coming up next here. While we're getting set up for our next run, let me introduce you to some of the runs I'll be hosting for here. First up, we have the King's Dungeon with Heponwana. After that, we have Dicey Dungeons with Selkuth Mine, Parking Garage Rally Circuit with a Tea Tree, and Impossible with the Masked Mango. So, if you're interested in any of these games, stick around, they're coming up real shortly. So, there you have it. So, I hope you took a nice long break after that past run.
ということで、今、本配信であります通り、続いてのゲームの、奏者の解説だ奏者だったりの紹介が今行われていますね。
I've just been ecstatic. I've been over the moon over the past few hours, in case you couldn't tell already. And I'm really excited to join you all behind the desk here for some of these upcoming runs. I'm familiar with some of these games, but not all of them. And I think you will have a lot to cheer about and rejoice for as well. So while we're here, let me tell you a little bit about the charity we're supporting. We are raising funds in support of Little Warriors. This is a Canadian charitable organization focused on the awareness, prevention, and treatment of child sexual abuse. They also advocate on behalf of and with child sexual abuse survivors. For information on them, visit littlewarriors.ca or type !info in chat. So definitely go check those folks out. Prevent-A-Thon has been supporting them ever since the marathon was founded, and they're truly a great cause. I mean, I can't explain to you enough how important the work they're doing is. And if you're moved by what work they're doing and you want to help support them, go ahead and type !donate in the chat too to learn how to donate. We're taking donations all day, every day for the next 4 days in support of this group. And you can put those donations towards incentives as well. So not only can you support such a great charity, but you can also put them towards some upcoming incentives we have here. For example, we don't have anything for the King's Dungeon, but for Dicey Dungeons, which is the second run from now, we have a character bid war between Thief, Warrior, and Witch. So this is to decide which character Selkuth Mine will be running during Dicey Dungeons. If you have any opinion on the matter, go put in those donations. I think we're currently tied at like $25 each, so it's neck and neck, a three-way tie. If you have any preference one way or the other, now is the time to get in those donations, because that bid war closes right as the run starts. So you have a little bit of time to get those in. So, I think think that's enough for me for now. I will leave you all for a brief second while we set up this next run. So hang tight, everyone. We will be right back.
はい、といった感じで、今、本家配信の方からね、軽い挨拶がありました。間もなく、画面切り替わるかと思いますので、今しばらくお待ちください。Alrighty, and welcome back everyone. We are all set to go for a run of the King's Dungeon, Worlds 1 and 2 100% by Heponwana. And I gotta say, this game is happening on a very unique console. Although, I won't steal Heponwana's thunder, so I'll let him do the honors. Alright Hep, let's start churning away at this dungeon. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Curry. Hey everyone, I'm Heponwana, and I'm going to be playing King's Dungeon on the Playdate. You might be wondering what the
はい、と
Playdate
い
is.
った感じで、今画面切り替わりました。
Sorry, I forgot. It's hiding behind my hand. If you haven't seen the Playdate, really tiny little console. It's a cool little thing, and it has a crank. So we're going to use the crank, some little buttons, a tiny screen, and we're going to go through 2 dungeons of the King's Dungeon, or 2 worlds of it. なんと
今、左上の画面の奏者さんが持っているのは、これ実機ですかね。あの実機から、
time, I'll explain more of what I'm doing as I go through once we start, but time begins in 3, 2, 1, go. So we are this little prisoner who is
グッドラックです。
who's trying to break out of the king's dungeon. And he got thrown in the dungeon because he ate the royal cheese. He ate the king's royal cheese. That was a slice of it you might have saw on that last screen. And we're going to try and collect a bunch of hidden cheese in the king's dungeon as we escape the dungeon. This game is a Metroidvania.
見た目的にはなんか昔あったみたいな感じのドットのゲームみたいな感じですけど。あ、でも、なんだろう、この波の表現とかすごいな。水の表現か。
Hidden cheese. Look how hidden that was. We grabbed one earlier that wasn't hidden, but that one very hidden. And we're just going to run through dodging these things. If we do get killed by an object, we will respawn in the room where we died. It's very friendly that way, and we're going to use that for some speed strats. So we're going to just go along here. Our power up we got is climbing these chains, and my special low speed strat is coyote jumping. If you don't know coyote jumping, named for Wile E. Coyote, you know, from Looney Tunes, who would run off a ledge and hold up the sign.
奏者の方がカイオーディジャンプっていうのが、どうやらテクニックみたいながあるらしいですね。
Was the loss of the perfect cycle. Just barely missed. This game uses very tiny controls, which I have big hands. It makes it
確かに見た目以上にちょっとコントロールが難しそうですね。
So back to what I was saying about coyote jumping, but first, cranking. We have the crank key. That is what the crank is used for.
何か回してジャンプをしているのか。実機の方。あ、 あ、そういうことか。今なんかその門が開いたと思うんですけど、その時にその実機の回す部分を回すと、門が開くみたいなシステムになってるのか。ということで、アイテムダブルジャンプか。これ2段ジャンプができるみたいな感じですね。なるほど。これあれですね、メトロイドバニアに当たるのかな。ゲームの種類としては。まあ、だんだん自分を強化していって、探索範囲が広がっていくみたいな。
pretty much any point at all, which means here we don't need to grab that wall and climb up it. That death was actually somewhat intended because it kept us on the same cycle. Sometimes, oh, that was unfortunate. That one I moved just a couple frames too quick. That was intended though. Get back at the start of the screen. And we will just run through here, start cranking our crank key, because I already knew there was a crank key door right through there. And what's cool is if you like this game's idea of using the crank key, the playdate is really fun because it allows for some really cool
さあ、アイテムダッシュ。おー、そういう感じのダッシュですね。
setup about old-fashioned like fishing games, like Dreamcast would have like bass fishing, and this console is the perfect one for fishing games because of having that crank. It means you could do those good old-fashioned reel in your fish type of games. Ooh, barely.
ああ、惜しいですね。
So I reset the room because I wanted to be on the right cycle. And I am just hitting that slightly wrong. We're going to pretend that didn't happen. So first try, we're going to get through this room perfectly. There we go. First try. You saw no deaths. Nothing bad happened there. Oh, nope. Wanted to glitch the game a little.
さあ、スマッシュ。これは何か攻撃する要素があるのか。
It's called Bash or Blast. I forget what it's called. I call it Super Saiyan because you pretty much do like Goku would do on Dragon Ball Z, where you know you just kind of and things explode all around you. So here we go, and we are almost in. Ooh, my controller slightly biffed. So a fun thing on this game is when you jump on ladders, you cannot just keep holding up. A lot of games, if you jump on a ladder and you're holding up, you'll just grab onto the ladder again. This game, if you jump, you have to reinitiate that grab button or hitting up to grab the ladder. That was just slightly off. And here we go. The last really difficult room of this part of the run. And then, hey, it's the king. We're going to grab his final piece of cheese in Dungeon 1. He's going to talk to us for a long time.
さあ、誰かと出会って、これは何か。
We're going to be done with World 1 in just a second with 100% of all of the secret collectible cheeses. And yes, that was the end of the game, but not the end of the game.
That was the end of the game ということで。
World 2 to do.
これ、ワールド1はクリアした感じですね。で、続いてワールド2ですね。
We're just going to run past him. We're like, hey, we're going to break out of your jail and all is fine. So here it's a button ballet is what I'm doing to jump and climb.
ワールド2というからには、先ほどのワールドよりも難しいと思われますが、どうでしょう。
At one time, or in one cycle, it looks like you should, but your hitbox is slightly bigger than you think it'd be. So the fun thing with this world is we have to do coyote jumps. We're doing them here for fun, but later we're going to have to do it. World 2 throws in some unique challenges. Also, it changes the order of our power-ups. Remember getting smashed
さあ、スマッシュということで、
last? Well, now we get it
さあ、アイ
first.
テム入手する順番もさっきと違っているみたいですね。
So if there's any announcements, now is a great time.
Sure thing. I have lots to talk about here. Let's see what y'all in chat have to say. I have $35 from Leggy Starscream who says, I lost track of wipes to Aries, so here's enough to cover it and then some. Thank you again for having me, and let's hit that 10K lifetime. Thank you so much, Leggy Starscream. Thank you for following up on your previous run. Congrats on that, by the way. I also have $25 from Zello who says, insert witty joke about tying the bid war for Dicey Dungeons and making Cell play all 3 characters at once. Thank you for that donation. While that's true that your donation tied it, since then, we also got some more donations in, and Thief is now in the lead with $60. Folks, we will be seeing Thief and Dicey Dungeons unless you donate and you feel that another character is more suiting. So now's the time to think about that.
All right, so here you'll notice I fell down at the end of all those platforms. That was to get this collectible. If I fell down earlier, I would have bonked my head into the side of one of these platforms, and that would have lost me a couple frames. We didn't want to lose frames. Also, here is where you need a coyote jump. You cannot make that gap without jumping in mid-air. And that guy down below actually would tell you about that if we talk to him. The problem with talking people, as we saw with talking the king at the end of the last run, it takes a lot of time, and we don't have time to waste. That's why we use the crank key before the dialogue box is even done.
チェックキーということで、
So,
これは何か鍵を通さないといけない場所みたいなのがあるんですかね。
or Super Saiyan. I love calling it Super Saiyan. I love Dragon Ball. It's just
あ、さっきの王冠の人、
it's the complete opposite of this game that has
ま
no
だ助けない
combat
という
at
と、
all. So here we have to solve some pretty cool puzzles where it's like we break this, we wait for this, and all of this is so tight of maneuvering. It's almost frame perfect. This game really does put a lot of challenge into keeping things very precise, especially World 2. World 2 is incredibly hard. It is, World 1's very friendly for casual or speedrun, and what's cool is you'll notice in top right corner, there is a timer. This game will give you a timer, which is awesome. Also awesome is getting our dash ability.
さあ、アイテムダッシュですね。
I love dash. It is the one that I absolutely need to feel complete on these runs. Look at how good that feels. That is amazing. So we are now heading into this area for the first time. We are going to see it quite a bit. So this part also has some very tricky hitboxes, so we want to be very careful. Those spikes can really hurt us in a hurry. And of course, every time we do take a death, we do restart the screen, which some areas can be really hard. That there also was very hard. Believe it or not, it's a lot trickier than it looked. We might remember that room. We will be coming back to that room the other way. There is a fair amount of backtracking in World 2, but at least it's a fun area and still a short run. You know, it's not one of those where it just feels like, why don't we have quick, like fast travel in this game? Instead, we don't need fast travel because this game, it's nice and short. It's to the point. It's really just a condensed, fun little experience. Going fall, dash, go through. So this is what I call, one of my friends, I should say, first called this the meat.
ああ、惜しい。
It's called that because if you die, you could really just start dying a lot. So we want to make sure we are on the correct cycle. That's why we took that extra death and restarted the room, because if you are not on that right cycle,
アイ
you
テ
will
ム、
just get
ウォール
stuck
クライム。
in everything.
これ壁登れるんですか？ああ、登れる。
The double jump, and the double jump is going to be the hardest one to collect. It is going to have a jump that we have to make that is, well, let's just say it is not a speed run jump we are going to be doing. It is a casual, intended, only way to get through it type of jump we're going to have, and it's going to be, ooh, did not want
あ
to
っと
fall
ミスっ
down
て
there.
しまいました
It's
が、
going to be kind of tricky. Hopefully it behaves nicely for me. It's type of move that if things go right, I'll get the first or second try. If things go wrong, well, things can get a little messy. Hopefully we don't get messy. First, though, we're going to get some cheese, because it's all about that cheese. I mean, who doesn't like a little bit of cheese? Here we go, the hard jump. So, this is about frame perfect, pixel perfect, like,
お
and
そ
this
ら
game,
くその岩場に乗ろうとしているんですけど、
so we're going have to fit through here
思っ
and
たより難しそうですね。
avoid any glitches that can
あ
reset
あ、
this.
どうしても上の方のブロックにぶつかってしまう。これはなかなか難しいですよ。
Struggle, mostly quiet. When I'm climbing back up, we'll. Ooh. Like I said, this is.
あ、正規ルートかと言われると、先ほどのワールドで、あ、成功しましたね、お見事。先ほどのワールドでダブルジャンプみたいなのがあったと思うんで、おそらくそれを使うんでしょうけど、あ、これですね、ダブルジャンプ。多分これ取ってから下に行くんじゃないですかね。いや、どうなんだろう。正規ルートなんだか、これ。
So we are just gonna climb up this area. We are, though, in the home stretch, so I am almost done with this fun little run. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you're intrigued by the playdate, because I would love more people to play the playdate. Not enough people are playing it, not enough people are running it, and time is coming up in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 time. And yes,
GG です。お疲れ様でした。といった感じで、ザ・キングズ・ダンジョン、以上となります。いや、非常になんか味のあるドットで、なんか見入ってしまいましたね。But I will be back in a couple days. I've got another run on Saturday, but also there are a lot of other great runs. So, you know, keep watching. Great event, great cause. Bring in money for Little Warriors. Bring in money to help bring some good love and positivity to the world. And of course, happy Pride to all of my friends out there. Much love to you all.
That's right. Happy Pride to everyone out there. Congratulations, Heponwana, on such an amazing run. Everyone in chat, can we give it up one more time for Heponwana? Congratulations on the run. That was amazing.
はい、といった感じで、ザ・キングズ・ダンジョンでした。続いてのゲームの準備がありますので、一旦失礼します。